March 8, 2023, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. 150 million daily active users try to connect to Discord. Nobody can get in. Voice chat, dead. Text messages, not sending. Servers, completely inaccessible. This wasn't Discord's first outage. It wasn't even their worst. But this one revealed something important. Discord had spent years growing explosively. They just forgot to upgrade the infrastructure to support that growth. This is the story of what happens when a platform grows faster than its systems can handle, and why move fast and break things eventually just means you're breaking things. Welcome to the Breakdown Economy. I'm Tony, and today we're talking about Discord, the platform that went from gaming chat app to essential communication infrastructure without building the infrastructure to match. Discord launched in 2015 as a voice and text chat app for gamers. The idea was simple: better voice quality than Skype, easier to use than TeamSpeak, and free. And it exploded. 2016, 10 million users. 2018, 90 million users. 2020, 300 million users. 2023, 563 million registered users, 150 million daily active users. That's not growth. That's a rocket ship. Discord started with gamers, but it didn't stay there. Remote work teams during COVID, study groups, book clubs, crypto communities, NFT projects, entire businesses running on Discord. It became infrastructure. Not just for gaming, but for communication, collaboration, and community building across the internet. And here's the thing about becoming infrastructure. You can't afford to go down. When Discord was a gaming chat app used by teenagers coordinating Fortnite matches, an outage was annoying. When Discord is how remote teams communicate, how online classes are conducted, and how businesses operate, an outage is catastrophic. Discord's architecture is complex. They run on Google Cloud Platform, using a combination of their own services and Google's infrastructure. Voice servers, API servers, database clusters, message queues, CDN for media. All of this has to work together, in real time, for millions of simultaneous users. And as they grew, they kept scaling up. More servers, more capacity, more redundancy. But there's a difference between scaling UP and scaling well. Scaling up means adding more resources, more servers, more bandwidth, more money thrown at the problem. Scaling well means architectural decisions that prevent single points of failure. It means systems that degrade gracefully. It means infrastructure that can handle the unexpected. Discord was very good at scaling up. They were less good at scaling well. And the signs were there. Discord had been having outages with increasing frequency. 2020, major outage during COVID work from home surge. 2021, multiple outages, some lasting hours. 2022, more frequent disruptions. Early 2023, service degradation becoming common. Each time, Discord would apologize, fix the immediate issue, and promise better reliability. And each time, the underlying problem remained. They were growing faster than they could build robust infrastructure. March 8, 2023, mid-afternoon, Discord users start experiencing connection issues. 3:00 p.m. ET, first reports of connectivity problems. 3:15 p.m., unable to send messages, voice chat dropping. 3:30 p.m., complete service unavailability. 4:00 p.m., DownDetector shows 300,000 plus outage reports. And Discord? Silent for the first hour. The impact was immediate and widespread. Gamers mid-match lost voice communication. Streamers broadcasting to thousands lost contact with their communities. Remote teams suddenly had no way to coordinate. And here's what made it worse. Discord had become so dominant that there weren't great alternatives. Sure, you could use Zoom, or Slack, or Microsoft Teams, but for gaming communities and casual social groups, Discord was the platform. When it went down, millions of people had no backup. Around 4:00 p.m., an hour into the outage, Discord finally updated its status page. We're aware users are experiencing issues connecting to Discord. We're investigating. Helpful, right? An hour later. We've identified the issue and are working on a fix. Still no explanation. Still no estimated time to resolution. Classic communications failure during a crisis. What actually happened? Discord's postmortem revealed the technical details. The root cause was related to their API infrastructure, specifically how their services communicated with Google Cloud's networking stack. Here's the simplified version. Discord's API servers, which handle everything from sending messages to managing voice connections, rely on Google Cloud Platform's networking. A configuration issue in Google's networking layer caused Discord's API servers to lose connectivity. When the API servers can't communicate, nothing works. Messages aren't sent, voice doesn't connect. You can't even load your server list. It was a cascading failure. One component breaks, and everything dependent on it fails. And because Discord had grown so fast, they had a lot of interdependencies. Systems that relied on systems that relied on systems. When one link in that chain broke, the whole thing collapsed. The outage lasted approximately 4 hours. For some users, the service was degraded for even longer. 3 p.m. Outage begins 4 p.m. Discord acknowledges issue 5:30 p.m. Partial recovery starts 7 p.m. Most users restored 8 p.m. plus. Some users still experiencing issues. 4 hours doesn't sound like much compared to some of the disasters we've covered. Southwest's 5-day meltdown. Change Healthcare's weeks-long disruption. But for a real-time communication platform, 4 hours is an eternity. Gaming tournaments disrupted. Work meetings canceled. Community events postponed. And this was just the latest in a series of increasingly frequent outages. Here's what concerns me about Discord. This wasn't an isolated incident, this was a pattern. Every few months, Discord would have a major outage. API failures, voice server crashes, message delivery delays. Each time the explanation was slightly different, but the underlying theme was always the same. Infrastructure that couldn't keep up with growth. Discord was adding millions of users per month. New features constantly launching, partnerships with game studios, integrations with streaming platforms. But infrastructure investment, harder to measure, less visible, not as exciting as new features. You know what gets announced in press releases? Discord now supports video streaming. Discord launches forums. Discord adds new emoji features. You know what doesn't get announced? Discord completely rebuilt our API infrastructure to eliminate single points of failure. The boring stuff. The invisible stuff. The infrastructure that actually keeps the platform running. After each outage, some users would leave Discord for alternatives. TeamSpeak, Guilded, Slack for professional teams. But most stayed, because Discord's network effects were too strong. Your friends were on Discord. Your gaming clan was on Discord. Your study group, your work team, your hobby community. And that's the trap of being infrastructure. You can have reliability problems, and people will still use you because switching costs are too high. Think about it. To leave Discord, you'd need to convince your entire community to move, migrate all your chat history and files, learn a new platform, lose integrations with games and tools, and rebuild your server structure. So people stay, they complain, they get frustrated, but they stay. And that removes the competitive pressure that normally forces companies to improve reliability. To be fair to Discord, they did invest in infrastructure. They hired talented engineers, they published technical blog posts about their architecture improvements. But here's the problem. They were trying to upgrade the plane while it was flying, at full speed, during a storm. When you're adding millions of users per month, it's really hard to stop and say, let's spend 6 months just on reliability. Investors want growth. Users want features. Competitors are launching new products. Infrastructure work is what you do when you have the luxury of time. Discord didn't have that luxury. They grew too fast. Alright, let's talk about what Discord's outages teach us, because this is about more than just a gaming chat app going down. Lesson 1. Growth without infrastructure investment creates instability. Discord grew from 10 million to 500 million users in about 7 years. That's incredible growth. But infrastructure doesn't scale linearly. Going from 10 million to 100 million users isn't just 10 times more servers. It's fundamentally different architectural challenges. And if you don't invest ahead of the growth curve, you end up constantly playing catch-up. Reactive. Wait for problems, then fix them. Users experience outages, trust erodes. Proactive. Build for the scale you'll need tomorrow, not the scale you have today. More expensive upfront. Prevents disasters. Discord was largely reactive. They'd have an outage, identify the bottleneck, and fix that specific issue. Then grow more, hit a different bottleneck, repeat. That's not infrastructure strategy. That's whack-a-mole. Lesson 2. Becoming infrastructure means you can't afford downtime. Discord started as a nice-to-have for gamers. If it went down, you'd use Skype or just not voice chat for an hour. But as Discord became how teams work, how classes are taught, how communities organize, downtime has real consequences, from gaming to social, to work, to education, to essential infrastructure. The standards changed, but the reliability didn't keep up. Enterprise platforms like Slack and Microsoft Teams commit to specific uptime guarantees, 99.9% uptime, service level agreements, credits when they fail. Discord, no SLA, no uptime guarantees. Free for most users means no contractual obligation to stay online. But when millions of people depend on you being online, that's a moral obligation, even if it's not a legal one. Lesson 3. Network effects. Create captive users. Here's why Discord could have frequent outages and still maintain its user base. Switching costs. Your value from Discord isn't the app itself. It's the people you connect with on Discord. Your guild, your friends, your community. To switch platforms, you need everyone to switch. That's basically impossible. So Discord has a captive audience. They can have reliability issues, and people will complain, but stay. That removes the normal market pressure that forces companies to improve. Lesson 4. Move fast and break things. Eventually, just breaks things. Silicon Valley loves the move fast and break things mentality. Rapid iteration. Launch quickly. Fix bugs later. That works when you're a startup experimenting with new features. It doesn't work when your infrastructure is serving 150 million daily active users. At some point, you have to transition from move fast to move carefully, from break things to don't break things. Discord struggled with that transition. They kept operating like a startup when they'd become essential infrastructure. Discord's story isn't unique. It's a pattern we see across tech. The platform grows explosively. Infrastructure can't keep up. Outages become frequent. Users complain but stay because of network effects. Eventually, either the company invests heavily in reliability, or they lose users to more stable competitors, or they plateau and stagnate. Since 2023, Discord has improved. They've had fewer major outages. They've invested more in infrastructure reliability. But they're still dealing with the fundamental tension. Investor pressure for growth versus engineering need for stability. Every dollar spent on infrastructure is a dollar not spent on new features that attract users. Every quarter focused on reliability is a quarter without impressive growth metrics. That's the trap of the modern internet. Everything optimizes for growth. Reliability is boring. Stability doesn't drive headlines. Until it fails. And then suddenly everyone cares. Discord today is still the dominant platform for gaming communities and social groups. For most users, most of the time, it works. But works most of the time shouldn't be the standard for infrastructure. The test of a platform's maturity isn't how it performs on a normal Tuesday. It's how it handles the unexpected spike. the traffic surge, the component failure. And on that measure, Discord still has work to do. So what can you learn from Discord's struggles? 1. If you're building a platform, invest in infrastructure before you desperately need it. Don't wait for the outage to force your hand. 2. When you transition from nice to have to need to have, your reliability standards must change too. 3. Network effects create captive users, but don't mistake tolerance for satisfaction. Eventually, reliability issues will catch up with you. 4. Growth metrics are visible and exciting. Infrastructure investment is boring and invisible, but only one of them keeps the lights on. And 5, if you depend on a platform for critical communication, have a backup plan, because even the most popular platforms have outages. Discord went from gaming chat app to essential infrastructure faster than they could build the infrastructure to support it. They're getting there. Outages are less frequent. Reliability is improving. But it's a reminder that rapid growth without infrastructure investment eventually leads to instability. That's it for this episode of The Breakdown Economy. If this made you think about the platforms you depend on and whether they're actually reliable, hit that subscribe button. Next week, we're covering the LastPass breach, when the password manager designed to keep you safe couldn't keep itself secure. I'm Tony. Build infrastructure before you need it. Plan for scale. Have backup communication methods. And remember, in the breakdown economy, moving fast and breaking things eventually just means breaking things.